Day two of the NFL draft has wrapped as we take you out to Las Vegas to put a cap on the second and third rounds of the NFL draft. And the Commanders roster, it is starting to fill out, but there is still much more to get to. 3 picks so far in the books, and here is what we have so far. Well, in the first round, Washington moved back to select Penn State wide receiver Jahan Dotson. He then found his way to Ashburn today. And then with our second round pick, the team selects defensive lineman Mathis out of the University of Alabama, team captain in 2021, 10.5 sacks and 46 career games. And in the third round, well, why not just keep it with those Bama boys as they get running back Brian Robinson Jr. with the 98th overall pick. And welcome into our Ashburn studios, Julie Donaldson and Logan Paulson here with you. Santana Moss is going to be joining us from Vegas as he had the opportunity to be one of our legends and call out that second round pick. Pretty cool for him.
Yeah, fantastic. That's really cool.
And Chase Young did the duties and the honors for our third round pick.
Fantastic. Yeah, 2 awesome Commanders players there. That's
and cool. Both Alabama guys is the names that were being called. Something going on with that Crimson Tide and Nick Saban, we would have to say. Okay, so far we have 3 picks in the books. What do you make of how Washington approached these first 2 days of the draft?
Well, I think they did an outstanding job. I think everyone kind of knew they would have to come in and trade back, right, to fill all the team needs that they had on this roster, and they did a great job of that. They basically were able to get a trade partner, get back to 16, select a player that they valued very highly and that they thought could be a playmaker for this team. Again, and then with that trade, they're able to kind of add the running back late, which is kind of a luxury pick. Obviously, Mathis is when you watch his film, he is dynamic. I really like him. He's very physical. So I think you get 2 really solid football players when you were only expecting one in the round 2, and obviously getting a nice receiver playmaker for Carson Wentz in round 1.
You know, even head coach Ron Rivera was saying in his press conference there at the end, even just with not all the quarterbacks going earlier, Mark Mayhew was surprised. He said, it's really just your opinion. So there is no necessarily right or wrong approach to when you pick a player and who you are selecting. But of course, everybody likes to weigh in on the selections and on the picks, but it brings about some good, healthy conversations. What did you learn about how Washington was kind of approaching this draft so far?
Well, I think they were looking for kind of surefire prospects. You know, you look at Jahan Dotson, he's got an extensive college playing career, right? And he's a very consistent, polished, almost professional player coming out of college. Mathis is the same way. 4-year starter, not 4-year starter, but a 4-year contributor at Alabama. Obviously, very well polished. Does the little things the correct way. And you look at Robinson, he's a 5th-year senior. They found guys who I think are very pro-ready in terms of their approach, and that kind of lets you sleep well at night, right? You know you've got a whole bunch of guys who are going to be good professionals from the jump. There's not going to be this learning curve like they've had in the past with some of their selections. So I think that, to me, is kind of exemplifying who they are and what they want to be in this draft this year.
Which is kind of interesting, too, because that's one of the things that Coach Ron Rivera was saying as well, is when you talk about potentially taking like a rookie quarterback, it's like you have to be patient to let them develop.
Yes.
And this is a team now going into their 3rd year underneath Ron Rivera, and he said that's basically how long it takes to really turn a culture around is 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
So it is kind of interesting to see that they are getting players that can come in and have an impact right away. Yep. You don't have to wait for them to be able to have that experience and contribute. At least that is the plan,
That's the plan
so
right?
far.
That's the plan.
Well, the Commanders, they started the night out with the second round selecting the Alabama defensive lineman Mathis with the 47th overall pick. Now, he was a permanent team captain for the Crimson Tide this last season in 2021 and joins a defensive line group that includes fellow Bama boys Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. And, well, as soon as he was selected, I had the chance to catch up with Mathis. Fedarian, welcome. Congratulations. That hat looks good on you, sir.
Oh, yeah, it do. It look real good, real good.
Yeah, it does. So walk us through that moment of you getting the phone call and realizing that meant that you were now the 2nd player to be drafted by the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't know. Like, I was just sitting down, watching the draft, and I'm like, thinking it's somebody like a family member calling or something like that. And I was like, oh, man, I ain't got this number saved. So I walked to the back, and he said, Fedarian. I said, oh, yeah, we in there now. So I started jumping, man, and jumping around, man. And that's how I found out I was going to be a part of the Commanders.
Who's celebrating this night with you?
Whole family, man. We got everybody out here. We got the family, my mom, my dad, grandmothers, cousins, sisters, everybody out. We're going to have a great time, just celebrate it. and just get it all out.
Soon enough, we're going to put you hard to work. We want you to celebrate and enjoy the night because this is a night that we all love because it's dreams coming true. And look, man, you worked your tail off at Alabama, and now you're joining what is a very strong Alabama front here on that defensive line. What do you know about our John Allen, Deron Payne, and all these other Bama guys that you're going to be sitting in that room with?
Man, Jonathan, that's a guy I was looking at coming into. I wanted like him. I even wore his number when I first got in college, because he was leaving. And Payne, he's my big bro. I was there when Payne for a year, and Payne, man, he took me on his wing, and he treated me like a little brother that I am to him. And man, I just can't believe that I'm rejoining with Payne again. And man, I can't wait to see what God got planned for us.
Have there been any, have you had time to field any phone calls or text messages from anybody?
Everybody blowing me up right now. I'm just trying to get to all the important calls right now and get them out the way with. And, I get back to them later. But it's going crazy right now.
So all the fans of the Burgundy and Gold, we love how stout this defense has been. Tell us, we know that you're good at and known for just stopping the run, but if we watch you on film, there's a lot of athleticism to your game and that you bring out there as well. How does that help you in what you're going to bring to this team?
It helps a lot. A lot of people they don't look the way the people that they look at it in deep. That watch film and how good I'm actually is. So, what I'm gonna bring to the table is gonna be something good. I'm physical. I run to the ball. I'm a great hustler, and I really can pass rush, and I'm gonna show that off. Whenever I get a chance to.
Guys like to compete on who can get to the quarterback the most, and we'll put you right there in the mix with them. Look, you were a team captain for all of last season at Alabama. Look, we know leadership is really big for head coach Ron Rivera and this staff. What is it about your leadership style and what you bring to a unit with that?
I'm vocal. I'm a vocal leader, and I have a lot of pride in football. I love football so much that I just have fun with it. I love football, and I'm gonna bring the best out of everybody that's surrounding me, and I have a great energy. So I love to pick people up when they're down. So I'm that type of leader, and that's what the Washington command getting out of me.
We're excited to see you join. Look, that this defensive front too. I know we talked about Allen and Payne, but I can't forget you're also going to be in that room with Montez Sweat and Chase Young. There are 4 first-rounders on this defensive front. You already know what it's like to play for a team that won a championship, but what are you already imagining this unit being and how strong you guys can be knowing the talent that's there?
Oh man, it's crazy, man, because those guys, I know that, coming in, I'm going to be able to learn from those guys. I'm going to be able to pick their brains. I'm going to be able to do so much. So, just by coming in without that big of a group, it's going to, play well for me. And also, hopefully, I can contribute to what they already have going on.
All right, let's give a message to the faithful of this franchise, the Burgundy and Gold. What do you want the fans to know about you?
Y'all, man, I swear it's gonna be so lit. Y'all gonna love me when I get in the stadium, man. So when I'm in the stadium, it's time to stand up. We gonna turn up. It's time to get lit. We gonna win some games, baby.
Ooh, I got some goosebumps just there listening to you on that one. Welcome. So glad to have you joining us. That hat, like I said, it looks good on you. We'll have you soon here in the building, putting you to work and seeing how much further this defensive front can go and the defense will take us. As head coach Ron Rivera said, we're turning that corner. You know what it's like to win it all, to win a championship. Let's bring that here to D.C. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your evening and congrats.
Thank you so much.
I like it. It's going to be lit,
Gonna be
folks.
lit.
That is what you want to hear from someone coming in hungry and ready to get to work. So taking a look at his numbers, while with the University of Alabama, a national champion back in 2020, recorded 129 combined tackles, 10.5 sacks in 46 career games. Okay, so the Commanders, they also picked up a third-round pick in their trade with the Saints on Thursday, and they used that pick to select running back Brian Robertson Jr. from Alabama. The big runner and a proven winner in the Crimson Tide, coming in to shore up the offense. And, well, a few little technical difficulties, but here's my conversation with Brian. Brian, congratulations and welcome to the Commanders. What was that moment like when you get the phone call from head coach Ron Rivera?
It was like a relief. I was just so happy and like to finally see my phone light up, and I'm just thankful that, Coach, gave me the call. I thanked him on the phone. I told him, just thank you, thankful for the opportunity, and I just can't wait to get to Washington. I can't wait to get to work.
People are calling you a beast, physical, hard to tackle. How would you describe yourself as a runner?
I would definitely, use all of those terms as well, but I can definitely be physical in my game. I can definitely be hard to tackle. But, if anything, I'm just a competitor on the football team. I hate to lose. I love to win. And, I just want to, be around guys who, have that same type of spirit about football. And I'm going to fight for those guys beside me, like I told Coach, I'm thankful, that he brought me in, and I won't let him down for sure.
There you go. Physical. We like that. Like a physical runner, going to try and help take some of the load off of Antonio Gibson as well. Get some good extra depth and running in that running back room. So getting a little bit further into his numbers. Yeah, he's kind of like a thumper, listed at 6'2", 225 pounds. Had to wait his turn at Alabama behind some really great backs. But in 55 career games, he ran for almost 3,000 yards and 29 career touchdowns. They are the 10th most in program history. That's kind of hard to do at a school such as Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, 3 picks in the books for the Commanders from out in Vegas, and the guy who made our second-round pick, Washington legend Santana Moss. Well, let's chat with him now. Santana, man, you look good up there on that stage. What was it like for you calling that pick in the second round?
It was actually nerve-wracking. I think everybody who's in the green room, we all had the same feeling. I mean, all the legend players was kind of nervous to really go out there. And once it was over, once you got a chance to do your part at picking that player for your team, it was just a great feeling to be done with it. And I think I felt best just knowing I didn't mess the guy's name up. And I knew it. I had a dream that I was going to get the hardest name. But I was happy that I was able to pronounce it and be able to, do a great job. So trust me, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, Mathis, not exactly the easiest, that is. A guy from Alabama. And then they go and they get another player from Alabama and a running back. What's going on with this SEC movement from all these Bama boys? What do you kind of make of this?
Look, I'm not complaining. When you go out there and get the guys from Alabama, all the guys from the SEC, but when it comes to Alabama, we know what they breed. They breed winners, and that's what we need. We need to draft the guys that know what it takes to win, and both of these guys are going to bring that kind of energy to our team. And if you think about it, what we've been trying to groom back home is winners and trying to give them that winning formula. And I think, Ron Rivera and staff did a great job so far in these first 3 rounds.
What did you make of this, of a running back, very physical, as he comes out of Alabama, can kind of really get you some of those short yardage, good in the pass protection as well. But running back, when you select somebody in the 3rd round at that position, you're probably expecting them to contribute right away.
Oh, no doubt. I think he's probably a 2nd-round talent. He could be possibly, if you want to really argue about it, he could have snuck into the 1st round when you look at, some of the things he did last year for the team. But you got to think, the way we treat the running backs now in the NFL. I was just telling a guy, I was telling Barry and some of the other guys, I remember coming in as a young buck in 2001, and those was the guys that was getting the $20 to $30 million a year, the running backs. And now, fast forward to today, the receivers are getting treated with that love, and now the running backs are the ones that we can wait on and pick later on, down the line in some of those, those later rounds. So we getting a pretty good talent though, and if you think about it, for the last few years, we've been relying on a guy who we've been trying to groom as more of a better running back. Now, AG has done a tremendous job and showed a lot of, growth at the position. But to bring this guy in, he's going to do nothing but add, the level of competition and raise all those guys level up. So I'm looking forward to just seeing what he brings to the table. I think he's going to be a tremendous, pickup for us, and we should be looking forward to him, going out there and making some plays for us early.
I mean, you touched on something really good there with Antonio Gibson and just learning the position and so many different elements that they throw at him, slowly trying to get it. This kind of takes a little bit of the load off of him a little bit. He doesn't necessarily maybe have to do it all, but it is nice to know that you're getting a very physical runner. Also, when we talk about Dotson, Jahan Dotson, he's not afraid for his size to be a very physical receiver as well. So we'll see how that all kind of translates with the offense as they do start putting some extra weapons in place to kind of beef up that side of the ball. So you do get somebody else added also on the D line, but where do you want to see them go as day 3 will take place tomorrow?
Who knows? I mean, one of the things I found about this draft, I just was speaking about this a few minutes ago, there's a lot of great players that's still out there that we probably, have potential of going at. So I'm not the one to sit here and tell you, well, this guy and that guy, but I do believe that we still have, some depth out there when it comes to just finding guys that can just better our team. We might need some more depth at the linebacker position. I'm pretty sure we can get an offensive lineman or two. So who knows? We might be seeing some of those guys' names called early tomorrow.
All right, we know you're working really hard today, making us proud as our legend, calling out the second-round draft pick. Enjoy your last little night, your last little time there in Vegas. After my red eye, I'm going to be going home, going to bed, but safe travels back here to Ashburn and Washington, D.C. Thanks, Tana.
Thank you, Julie.
People always think when you're in Vegas that it's just a party. Sometimes you go and you work really hard, Logan. You do. All right, not in Vegas was Jahan Dotson, but arriving today in Ashburn for the very first time. He had the chance to meet with coach and the staff, kind of take a tour around the facility, get used to his new little home, his new place of business, not too far away from Pennsylvania. And he also spent some time with me out in the team's practice bubble. Jahan, welcome to Washington. I know we got to talk last night, but now you're here. You've been able to see the facility, meet some of the coaches. How is it settling in for you?
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. A dream come true. Just taking it all in, being here, getting picked last night, flying here today, being with my family. It's honestly amazing, and it's a dream come true.
I know you said you were kind of surprised. You weren't sure who was going to select you or where you were going to be selected. What have you learned so far from the coaching staff of what they say of why you were their guy?
Yeah, they said they've been looking at me for a while now, and they just kind of wanted to keep it a secret, didn't want all the teams knowing that they were interested in me, and basically telling me that I'm a versatile receiver who can do a lot of things, who can complement guys who are in the receiver room right now, and someone who can be a vertical threat down the field, and then adding special teams value is always good.
Okay, so you're just letting me right into it. Let's get straight into your game then.
Yeah.
They do line you up inside, outside. Where do you feel more comfortable, though?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
I feel like it doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. I feel more comfortable being able to go inside and outside. So being able to show my versatility and show the different things that I can do on the football field is something that plays right into my game.
Coach Rivera says you have one of the things he loves about you is you have this great catch radius. You're 5'11". Let's just state the obvious. Typically to go up and be able to do that against some other taller DBs is not easy, maybe your height. How do you play bigger than your size?
Yeah, just kind of having it's more of a mentality thing, kind of having that dog mentality. I've been the youngest of 8 cousins, so pretty much growing up, getting bullied and picked on, it kind of raised me to be the man I am today, and just overcome my fears and overcome challenges in my life. So being able to do those things, I looked at tall task as it's just things that I want to accomplish.
I know you haven't had much time, but then have you been able to go and thank all your cousins? Say, hey, this is for you picking on me when I was 3 years old. Look now, right?
Literally. They were all there last night, so I feel like I kind of got the last laugh a little bit, but it's been pretty cool.
You know, we normally always see you with a football in hands. In fact, I was anticipating here, but as he walks up, you toss it over to your best friend that's here with you as well. It's great to be surrounded by good people. Why is that?
The football?
Yeah, the football.
Honestly, it feels like it's like a little piece of me that like always feels like home. Wherever I bring it, no matter what, it's something that I can just resort back to, and it's kind of just a way for me to just get away. I can kind of be by myself, just chilling, and I can be throwing the ball up in the air. It kind of feels like I'm just getting away from everything.
We've seen some pretty athletic one-handed grabs as well. Is there anything or psychology or science to you always having the ball in your hand that maybe helps you be able to do that in the game?
Yeah, there's definitely probably some type of study that me always having a football in my hands has helped me with being able to make those crazy acrobatic catches. But I would honestly say most of it is just God-given ability. Just thanking the man above for kind of blessing me and touching me. So just thanking him and being able to do these things is a dream come true.
A lot of people do say that one of the best traits of your game is you do have good hands.
Yeah.
You're also got some good speed to you as well. We talk a lot. Santana Moss is one of our guys. He'll be around a good bit. He talks about, he said, man, he is always open, and you're good at running routes and doing that. What do you pride yourself most on in your game?
Yeah, definitely my route running.
Yeah.
Taking pride in that is big for me. Just because I'm not a bigger guy, I can't just rely on my size to get open. So making sure that I'm precise in the little details of route running, it's huge for me, and it's going to be able to make me create separation against guys who are just as good as me and have just as much athleticism as me. So taking pride in those little details of route running is really big.
You know, I asked him last night because you said that you kind of enjoy like kind of manipulating your defenders a little bit, and I asked him, I said, what does that mean? What goes into that? And he says it means he's a smart kid, first off,
right? Because
you're able to know how they're playing you on certain reads and certain things to be able to change it up a little bit.
Yep.
You're also one of the best when it comes to the 96th percentile when playing in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to see that. You have to be able to recognize it when you're on the run.
Right.
Where do these smarts come from?
Yeah, I would definitely say my experience at Penn State. Coming from a small high school, you don't see big-time football. You're kind of out there just kind of free-for-all, just playing and kind of letting your natural abilities take over. But once I got to Penn State, as you know, when you move up the ranks, you kind of get guys who are just as good as you, get just as athletic as you, and you got to find a little advantage. And the film room was big for me. Getting in there with Sean Clifford, a guy who I got to play 3 years with as my quarterback, and just seeing the things that he sees. He's a very intelligent football player. So just learning from him, learning how to watch film, and learning the nuances of defenses and what they're trying to do to you, it helps me manipulate my defender.
Everybody kind of wants to also be able to find a way to identify of who you will be as a player. So they go to kind of former guys, right?
Yeah.
We've heard Coach Rivera say you remind him a little bit of Deshaun Jackson, and,
right.
and that of it too is kind of playing bigger than your size.
Yep.
Of Steve Smith when he was with Carolina. We've heard Tyler Lockett. People even here are saying, Terry McLaurin. And that's just kind of a lot of it too, I think, is how you're carrying yourself.
Yep.
And Terry's kind of that guy that's kind of like nitty gritty as well. Like
Yeah.
he goes up and he prides himself on those 50-50 balls. Who do you model your game after, or what do you think when you hear those names, knowing the success that they've had?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool to hear the names that I'm mentioned with, especially Terry McLaurin. Talking to a lot of people in the building, and just noticing how I'm picturing in my head Terry McLaurin is. I can't wait to meet him. It's honestly like this was kind of meant to be a little bit. He's kind of a guy who goes about his work, quiet guy who goes about his work, and I'm the exact same way. So just honestly can't wait to meet him, can't wait to learn from him and take this on.
He's beloved here, so you're going to fit right in line with the burgundy and gold and what you're going to contribute to on the field. What do people need to know about you off the field, though?
Yeah, I'm a quiet kid, laid-back kid who just likes having fun. Honestly, really easygoing, loves to play video games. Yeah, just can't wait to. I'm excited for this moment, so can't wait to get in the community and really just be a part of it.
And you have some family here as well that lives in Potomac. Have they told you anything to expect about your move here, maybe where you want to look?
Yeah, not too much. Knowing that I'll be able to somewhere be able to go outside my front door and yell and hear their name will be pretty cool. But haven't really thought about living situation too much, but just excited to be here in the moment right now.
And we now know it's that number 1 jersey. That's a bold move, man.
That's a bold move. That's a bold move, and I honestly can't wait for it. Feeling like it was a perfect opportunity, the first pick ever for the Commanders, and just being able to wear that number 1 jersey is going to be pretty cool.
Welcome. Glad to have you here. And let me just finish with this. Doug Williams picked you up on the flight.
Yep.
There is so much rich history with this franchise. You are now a part of that history and a new chapter, being that first Commander drafted.
Yep.
It's important for us to tie our history with today. What did you take from talking with Doug to know the importance of you being here and being now the first Commander?
Yeah. Definitely talking with Doug was amazing. Honestly, just getting on the flight with him, talking to him about what it is to be a commander, what it is to be a part of this organization, and what it means to the city. It's amazing. I can't wait for this opportunity, and I can't wait to talk with him even more about it. So just looking forward to it.
As Coach Ron Rivera said, you're here to help change the trajectory of this franchise. Welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
I love chatting with the future of the franchise coming on in here at the 16th overall selection. Pretty dynamic wide receiver out of Penn State. Dotson fills a need for the Commanders and gives new quarterback Carson Wentz an additional weapon in his first season in Washington. Now here's a look at what the Commanders are getting in
Here's
Jahan
a look
Dotson.
at the numbers for
a career
Jahan
42
Dotson.
games,
Career
183 receptions, doesn't drop the ball either, almost 3,000 yards and 25 touchdowns, and also a really good threat in the return game. He holds Penn State's single-season record for punt return average of just about 25 yards a return in 2020. You like those numbers?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he's such a. I like his tape, and the numbers support what I see on the film.
Yeah, well, head coach Ron Rivera and general manager Mark Mayhew, they met with the media to discuss the first round and also to discuss what happened in the second and third round. So you can go back and watch those press conferences if you want to know what their thought process was going into the picks. And, of course, they will be back tomorrow after the draft as well. Here's the remaining picks that they do have. So it's kind of good to get that insight from them because there's a lot of questions like, wait, what did you like about this guy? I liked that guy. And they say, no, this is their choice, their decisions, and they're able to kind of give some explanation into their thought process. So excited to see where they do go into tomorrow. Okay, so Logan, the biggest thing we were kind of talking about, one of the biggest takeaways is they went for players that should be ready to play.
Yes.
What do you want to see them do with the remaining picks?
Well, I think they got to address maybe linebacker, Buffalo nickel. Those positions have been talked about ad nauseum, and it'll be interesting because they've kind of run out of linebackers that could fill that role. The guys that are still on the board are Brandon Smith, hyper athletic guy out of Penn State. Not sure that he fits that vision of the Buffalo nickel. Darian Beavers, also a guy, maybe not the right kind of guy. So now they got to go to safety, and there's a whole bunch of long, rangy safeties who tested really well. Tice Anderson out of Toledo, excellent measurables, but a little bit raw. So I'm not sure he fits this vision of kind of getting guys that are ready to go, maybe a little bit of a developmental prospect, but you like the way he runs, you like the way he jumps, and you like his arm length and all those kind of things that are important to their evaluation for safeties.
General Manager Mark Mayhew said that they got tougher today.
Oh, yes. I 1,000% agree with that. When you watch Dotson, tough. When you watch Mathis, he is an animal in the middle of that defense in Alabama, and he's one of the best players on a field full of good players. And his arm length, his heavy hands, all that comes to light. And then Robinson, I love the way he runs. The first guy never brings him down. He's not always running over people. He's got nice shifty feet, but he has a physical mentality to him. And one of the things you brought up in those interviews is they are football guys. They are football leaders, and that's something that is very, very valuable because it kind of ensures a progression from those athletes as they progress in the NFL.
Character is something that's really important to this team. They got a lot of really kind of upstanding guys, and there's been times where sometimes you get some a little bit of wild, a little bit of flair, but they do believe that they have the right structure, they have the right way to put these guys and work them into the rooms. So excited because this is building. This is the season of hope. And we have a lot of hope heading into the upcoming season, and so a lot of picks to come here in the draft tomorrow. Okay, so there is also some exciting news as we talk about the future. And with Logan and Santana on Monday, May 9th, Washington Football Today officially becomes Command Center. We'll have all the highlights for you, analysis and insight that you've come to expect with a new look to match the new era of Commanders football. So we'll see you weekdays, 5:30, 10 p.m. on NBC Sports Washington. And we're all excited to bring you this show, to bring you the shows that we have done over the last few days as well. There'll be lots of interviews still to come as there are more picks to be had. But then we'll see you again on Monday. Make sure you do join us for our new programming, breaking down everything. We'll talk to the head coaches, the coordinators as well.
That'll be great. Coordinators always get to get their insight also. So
yeah, to be able to see, like I always joke, like who won like the arm wrestling of the thing, like is it Scott Turner or Jack Del Rio that gets to overall have more picks in the draft?
Yeah, who do you think would win a real arm wrench between them?
I'm not going to answer that question.
On.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Right,
should we do this on our way out here? Okay, for Logan Paulson, Santana Moss, and myself, we're going to say goodbye to the draft. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Too easy. That's why I like keeping you around.